Buckle up, a gigantic Titanic episode is coming your way today on Brickscale Studio. Welcome back to Brickscale Studio. My name is Jeff. Thank you so much for joining me today. So as I mentioned last week and in the introduction, today's episode is a long one, about 40 plus minutes. So I'm not going to talk a whole lot, but we get into a lot of stuff. Just real quick, normally the magazines, they're about 7 or 8 pages of articles and information and 2 or 3 pages of build instructions. This one, our first issue, is just the opposite. It's like 2 or 3 pages of articles and 8 pages of instructions. It's a lot. Plus, we're going to be delving into the lighting kit on the Lego side, so that is extra time that we don't normally spend. But let's get into it, and we'll talk about it after. Okay, here we are in issue 19. Let's take a look at the magazine really quick. So here we have a little information on John Jacob Astor, one of the millionaires from the Gilded Age. And then, yes, remember we mentioned Downton Abbey in our introductory video for this series, that the sinking of the Titanic kicks off the whole series for Downton Abbey, so this article talks about that. Very cool. So in this episode and this issue, we're going to be adding some details to the funnels. We're going to basically finish off the funnel we started in the last episode, and then we're going to bring back the funnel that we've already built, and we're going to be adding some details. So let's get into the parts. For issue 19, again, you're looking for our little number down there. So yes, we've got a bunch of little parts here, and I am just going to leave them in the bags until we need them. Let's see though, we have some forward steam escape pipes, some aft steam escape pipes, a couple of grills. We have our second funnel interior, and we have some ladders, water pipes for the first funnel, the second funnel, and then we have a couple of platforms in here, and we have our smoke generator, and our funnel cap, and then some screws that we will need. Okay, so the first thing we need is our smoke generator. And also in this bag are some pipes and some grills. So I want to make sure that I do not damage, because those are so small, and there's a whole nother bag of them here, so we will get to those when we get to those. Alright, so we need to take the piece from the last episode here, and just like we did in the first one, we're going to take this and line it up with the notch here, just like so, and this is going to go on just like so, making sure that our wires are coming out of that notch and they're not being pinched here. And then we're going to screw this in with 2 EP screws. Just make sure those are secure. Yes, they are tight. Perfect. All right, and now we are going to take the tank that we had from the last episode, and again we are going to be putting that on there like so. Then we have our, I believe this is the funnel cap, is that what it's called? Yes, the funnel cap. And we want to take our stay collar And remember, the tabs are different sizes, so we need to make sure that we align them correctly. And again, it says do not use any glue. So now we want to bring back our funnel. There's one hole on this side, and then there are 3 holes on this side. We want to make sure we have the 3 holes facing the side that we screwed on here. So this actually goes like so. So that fits in just like that. And then just like we did in the last episode, we want to feed this wire down like so. Let me grab my tweezers. So now we've got that in there. And again, we want to put our little grill here. Ready. So yeah, we just want to get this in here. And again, it says not to glue it, that we should, just like we did last time, we're going to put a little masking tape on it to keep that in place while we work on some other stuff here. All right, so next we want to take some of our little details. Now these are plastic, so I'll try to be very careful here. All right. So, let's see. All right, so one of these is a little bit longer than the other one. So we want the shorter one. And that is going to go on the front here, and you just line up the colors. So that's going to go in these little holes here, and it does want us to put some glue. So I will do that. All right. All right, and you will hear a little, I'm not sure if you heard it, but I heard it. I did hear a little click when that went into place. All right, next we want to come over to this side where we have all of the holes here, and we want to take this little platform. So there is a little notch here. I'm not sure if you can see it, and it's going to go right like this. So basically, this little slot here, this little slot, there's a tab on the back that fits into there. So what we want to do is we want to put a little super glue on the tab to sort of hold that in place. Like so. And then we just, all right. So there is that. And now we're going to need the longer pipe. And again, we just want to put a little glue on these tabs here, and that is going to go and again there will be a little click. All right, perfect. Oh my gosh, and now we want to take this little piece, and it's going to go on top of the piece that we just put on. So there are some holes here that this will fit onto. A little glue on these. These are teeny tiny ones. And again, this is going to go There we go. So I find if you can get one of the tabs in, then it kind of helps you get the other ones in. All right, and next we have the ladder. And that is going to straddle this whole thing. All right, so that is looking like that. And that fits in there. All right, next we need some of these pieces, and I want to make sure on the inventory if these are all the same. They are not. So remember we had sort of this one that came in the bag with the grills. And then we've got these other ones. Okay, so these two. So yeah, in the inventory, it shows that there are sort of two that are the same, which are these two, and then one that is shorter. So we want, let's see, H. We want this one. So I'm going to leave the shorter one over here and the other long one here. So we need to bring back our gymnasium. And I'm going to do a little dry fit. So there are two holes here. And it says that this should lean forward. Although, let me check here. This other one, the pegs are kind of... Yeah, so it is this one because it is definitely leaning forward. So yeah, the little pegs are angled at the bottom. So yeah, so if the one you think isn't showing up how it is in the picture, then just try another one until you get the right one. All right. Actually, let's set this one aside, and we need to bring back the officer's deck, or officer's quarters. All right, so here we go here. So these are all going to want to be facing this way. So this one we're going to be using our remaining 4. All right, so this one is going to be going right here. All right, so these other two have different patterns down at the bottom. So we definitely want to make sure that we are using the right ones. So that is this one, and it is going in here. All right, and again, you all kind of want them to be leaning this way. And then we're going to take this one. That one's going in there. And then this one is going in here. Alright, and again, we want to make sure those are kind of leaning. Okay, so that is that. I'm going to set those aside. And now we have these other parts here. So this is the funnel we just created in these last couple episodes. So now we want to bring over the one we did in a previous episode. So this one that we did last time. So we want to basically put all of the same little accoutrement, all of the little decorations on this funnel. So again, we're going to open this up. And since it's just like the one we just did, I'm going to go ahead and put them on, and then I will bring you back and show you the final results. All right, and so here we have this one complete, and then we have this extra grill that we're going to be using in the next issue, apparently. So that is it for issue 19 So let's move on to issue 20. Here they talk about the dining room, the first class dining room. So it looks like we have some we get some electrics, so that's nice. So we will be fitting in some items here. Very cool. All right. So let's see. Issue 20 is right here. All right, we got definitely some small parts to deal with in this episode, or this issue. So let's see what we are doing exactly. Lots of instructions. All right, so we have connecting cable for the first funnel. We have a LED and circuit boards. We have a boiler room vent hood. We have some decking. We have, let's see, a cowled vent, an antenna holder. That is very small. And then we have, let's see, we have a couple of hatches, and then we have some grills here. We have a swan neck vent. We have 2 of those, and then we have, let's see, this piece is not identified. This is interesting. Unless this goes here like so. Okay. That makes sense now. We have a plastic band, and then we have some screws. So we need to bring back some of the vents that we have been holding on to from previous episodes. Let me see if we're going to be using all of them. Yes, we are. Yes. All right, so this is the one that we had left over from issue 16. So that would be the last episode that we did. All right, so this is a little metal piece here. So we want this piece here, 20H. And then it wants us to put a little glue, and we're just going to be putting that in just like so. There is a nice little ridge here, so it should just sit in there just like so. Okay, so there is that. All right, so we're going to bring back the stairwell deck, and we need to take off this masking tape. Maybe we'll go just like there, because we're going to put this vent just in here. And it goes right in these 3 holes. Yep, and we're going to put a little glue in. So, these pegs here. Okay. And this is going. There we go. All right, so that goes in just like so. There, so we need to set this aside. And then we need to bring the officers' quarters back, and we have this little piece of decking here that is going to go right in here like so. And this is such a small piece, I'm not going to put the glue on it, much to my probably regret at a later date, but we shall see how it works out. Alright, so we've got that installed. Let's bring back our battery box because it wants us to test our lights. Okay, and this should go in. Alright, so I'm not sure if you can see that. We have both of them working. Alright, yeah, you can see that both of those are working, so cool. Alright, so we're just going to disconnect that. Perfect. Alright, so we need the officers' quarters again. Oh, yeah, it's pretty obvious how this goes. So now it wants us to align the tabs on this bottom edge. Alright, and then it says to coax them from the other side. Okay, I think I got it, but now I want to double check to make sure that they still work. Alright, yes, they all still work. Yay! Okay, so we got that in. Alright, now we need our vent from this issue and one way back from issue 14. So that would have been episode 7. Alright, so same deal. We're going to just put these in. Just put a little glue on this ridge here. Okay. Set that aside to let it dry for a second. Same thing, we'll just put a little here. Alright, perfect. And these are both going to be applied to the officers' quarters. So this one is going to be going in the front, and this one is going in the back. And they're both facing with the grills facing out. I mean, you line up the holes, I mean, they can only go one way, so, you know. Just use the tweezers to kind of line that up. Perfect. And now we'll do the other side. Okay, well that one went in no problem. Alright, awesome. We got those in. So now we need these two here at the end. Alright, so they are going to go right here. So what we want to do is we kind of want to bend these to match. And this is going to be a little difficult. See how well we did. Okay, so there's one. So I think those are going to work, so we just need to put a little glue. Alright, so there are those. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, we'll just give that a moment to set really quick. Let's see, so we want this one. Okay, and it's going to go right where we put this decking. It doesn't say that we need to glue it, but, you know, I am going to just go ahead and put a little on those pegs. And this one's easy to figure out because they are, one of the pegs is larger than the other, so it can only go on one way. There we go. It clips in. Next, oh my goodness, we need to take this teeny tiny little, what is this, antenna holder. And it says to note the orientation, so yeah. All right, right in there. Then we want to turn this around. And we have our two swan necks. Yeah, and we're going to put a little glue on these pegs. That one's going to go like so. And again, the pegs are different sizes, so fairly straightforward to put them in. Once again, you're always turning this. You're always making sure that you are following the way that the pictures are oriented in the magazine. All right, now we need to bring back this piece from issue 15. Right there. And it is going to go here. And that is solid. It is not going anywhere. So we're going to set that aside. All right, so it wants us to take this apart now, even though we just put it together. So we want to take... Oh my goodness, that was a chore. Like, I cannot believe that that fit in there so crazy. Alright, so anyway, now that we've got that done, alright, so we want to take this, and we have this plastic band that we want to put around here now. Alright, so we want to make sure that is taut. And then we have our connecting wire here. So take the connecting cable, thread the larger connector socket through the first funnel. Alright, so we want that. Now we take the officer's quarters. And 2 AP screws. All right, there's one. And there's 2. All right, so now we want to take our... this is the one that we got in the last issue is a replacement for the one that was on there. Says that this is a better fit, which it is. And then we can hold that in place with some masking tape if needed. So yes. Okay, so that was... I'm not going to lie, that was a bit of a struggle bus issue, but we got it in the end. So it doesn't want us to put this back in. So we're leaving it out at this point. Let's see. The first funnel has been attached to the top of the officer's quarters and several vents and other details. The smoke generator assembly will be refitted at a later stage, and this white grill will be used in a future issue. So store all parts carefully. All right. So that is it for the scale model side. Let's move over to the Lego side. Right, here we are on the Lego side. So in the last episode, we started working on this mast piece, and we added some cranes to the deck here. So in this episode, we are going to start working with the lighting kit from Light My Bricks. But what we're going to do is we have a few more steps to complete this section, and then we're going to start working on the section that comes behind. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the entire Lego build because we're going to finish this, set it aside, and then start working on this other piece. And then once we're all done, then we'll come back and we will address the light kit. So let's get started with steps 136 through 150. Okay, that is up to step 150. So we started on this secondary section, which they identify in the manual as bridge and funnel. So we have a start on that, and then it's hard to get in here, but we finished off this mast. We attached these flags. So we got that. So obviously this is going to attach here somewhere, and that will continue the ship. All right, so let's delve into this light kit. All right, so we are back, and if you recall from the progress video a few episodes back, I kind of went into the Light My Bricks. They actually, again, one of the weird things is when you go to their website, there's 3 parts to their instructions, and we're starting with the 3rd part. And then they have you start on page 74 of the Lego manual. However, you just follow the Lego instructions and build following the Lego instructions until you get to this step, which we have already done, which won't be a big deal to undo. But when you get to the part where you're putting this string on, which might be hard for you to see, but there is a string that goes here. And that is, like I said, they have you start with page 74, but that doesn't actually... We don't actually encounter the lighting element until page 100. So, kind of interesting there. I think what they're doing, it's like because we were opened bag 4 of the Lego parts, and that starts on page 74. I think that's where why they're starting there, is because you open bag 4 of the Lego parts, and then you get into this. So we've already done all of this. We built this mast, and we are right here. So what we need to do is somewhere it said here, we need to open bag number 6 in our Light My Bricks set. So again, they have you open it after this step, but then you're not doing anything with it until we get to this step here. So let's open bag number 6. This is the contents of bag number 6. So we've got all these little parts. So I'm going to turn this so I can see it. So there are little tags on here. So we want ALWW30, which is this piece here. And then we have this piece and this piece. So this is a wire, although it's sort of almost more like a tape, like it's flat. It's not really a wire. All right, so there's one end that is a light, and then there is this other end. So we want to take this piece and feed it through like so. And we want to bend this so that is going in like that. And then we want to take and attach it to this piece. And then we take this piece, put this on, bring over what we have done, and we want to take this piece out. And we want to feed this little wire through here, like so. Which I'm not sure if you saw any of that, but we basically took this piece out and we threaded the wire through, put this back in, and then attached this little light here. Next, I'm going to take these little pieces off for the moment. Alright, and we need to take this piece off as well. So we are basically removing these pieces here, which were sitting in here, so that we can attach this little junction box. So we also need B30, so we need another cable. So we have B30. We have our little junction box, and we want to take this wire, and it wants us to just kind of like wrap it around this pole, and then we're going to go down and out. Alright, so we want to come out there, and then we have our junction box. So we want to plug the wire. Alright, so we plug into the junction box. And then now we want to take this other cord. And so this one's going to go right next to it on the end, like so. And then this wire we are going to feed out this way. Alright. Okay, I know this is hard for you to see because it's all on the opposite side. So we came out here, and then now we want to come through here and come out the middle. So let me... Alright, so basically what we've done is we brought that wire out here, we've taken off these pieces, hidden it under there, and now we're coming out the back here. Alright, so that is actually it. I just want to double check here really quick, making sure we don't need any further parts from our lighting kit. Nope. Alright, well, we are definitely good to go for this episode. Alright, so that is it for the Lego portion. Okay, so let's recap where we are at. So let me bring back all the stuff we worked on. Alright, so for the Lego version, we finished this front section. We added the mast, and then we started working on the next section, which will go behind. So we started working on that, and then we also attached, which you can't see, which I apologize. We also attached our first lighting element from the Light My Bricks kit. That was a little bit of a struggle bus, but we'll talk about it after. And then over on the scale model side, we worked on the funnels, adding some details. We also installed this extension cable and some lighting. So that is where we are at the end of this episode. So like I said, that was a lot, but I do feel like we got a lot accomplished, so I'm not too mad at it. So again, like I said, because this episode is longer, I'm not going to talk a lot, so I'm just going to give you the normal points we hit on the way out. We're going to do our summary really quick. So on the scale model side, 35 steps and 35 parts, and on the Lego side, 21 steps and 88 parts. And total to date, 125 steps and 197 parts for the scale model, and 277 steps and 984 parts for the Lego. All right, so we're getting closer to that 10% mark on the Lego parts. But remember to like, share, subscribe. It really helps out the channel. I talked about it a little bit in the last episode. Check out our website, www.brickscalestudio.com. We have links to our YouTube videos, a newsletter sign up that's launching this fall, and a shop with some new and used Lego sets for sale. So definitely check that out. And until we see each other again, happy building, take care, be kind to each other, and I'll see you very soon.